You know, in today's environment, it's actually very difficult to negotiate for a number of reasons. One, the nature of business requires people to engage in a relationship that requires trust, and you have to build that trust very quickly in order to get things done. That's compounded by the fact that business is being done across borders, and so when there are cultural differences involved, this can create a bigger challenge. The final challenge with doing business today is being able to bring a very innovation, creative aspect to the negotiation, such that when it seems you're at an impasse, you are able to identify additional resources that can be brought to bear to the negotiation and come up with breakthrough deals when no one else can. What is negotiation leadership? It's a really good question. Many people think about negotiation as trying to just advocate for your perspective. And while that is true, it often requires a bit of a perspective that enables you to accomplish at the end what you do not have at the beginning. And in order to do that with somebody who may not be as open or as sophisticated in negotiation, it requires you to not only advocate for your perspective, but to be able to manage the conversation in a way in which both parties can reveal just enough information necessary to bridge gaps and also to resolve conflicts. Again, the idea of a leadership perspective is much like this idea of trying to take your perspective and then have a third person perspective, say like a mediator, and being able to navigate and manage that conversation in a way that you are able to accomplish what you need to do. I've had wonderful experiences helping executives around the world, probably in about 30 different countries, come up with breakthrough deals in their own professional lives. Sometimes that accidentally happens to be helpful in their personal lives. And one of the key strategies involved in that is recognizing what are the nuanced differences between cultures, but what are some of the fundamental natures of just being a human and the fundamental natures of business. If you're able to identify those patterns, I'm able to much more successfully help people in their professional lives. One of the most rewarding experiences I've had is when I've been able to get emails from former participants years later who are talking about how our experiences set them on a fundamentally different path through which they're able to achieve extraordinary results. It may be surprising, but about a third of the success of a negotiation happens before you even meet the other person. If you're able to prepare strategically your side and accurately forecast the other side, it sets you in a place that actually increases the odds you're going to be successful. What I'm saying is that preparation and strategically preparing is key to the success of the negotiation. So when we go through this program, we're not just talking about how to deal with the other person live in the moment, but how to really do a very structured approach to preparing for the negotiation, even if you only have 15 minutes to prepare. What I love most about working with senior executives and people who are very well experienced in negotiation is we can quickly go beyond the basics and try to identify some of the most cutting-edge strategies that I see around the world in many different industries where people are having to deal with much more complex situations. They're not simply buying and selling commodities or services, but having to broker a number of relationships. And so the way in which we customize this experience for this particular group is to assume that everybody has a lot of negotiation experience and really trying to look for some new tools, strategies, and perspectives that can take them to the next level and also allow them to better train those around them, their subordinates, for example, on how to negotiate more effectively on their behalf. There is an assumption in negotiation that to hold your cards close to your vest as it is the best strategy. Don't reveal anything, let the other person do the talking. And there is some truth to that. The reason why that's actually only some truth and not all truth is it depends on the type of information. What I do is I work with different groups around the world to help them identify in their own particular business what are the types of information that, of course, they should keep close to their chest, but what are the types of information that they're at a disadvantage if they don't share, and how to actually elicit from the other side information they could share that would allow both parties to identify more value to be created. If you can create more value, there's more to claim from both sides. Maybe you claim all of that new value, but in order to identify that, you have to look for new opportunities. I'll give you a concrete example of that. When you're negotiating for, say, two issues, A and B, being able to inquire from the other person additional business needs they may have may open up the possibility that either you and your own organization or within your network might be able to also address those needs. By creating such synergy in a negotiation, you're making the whole thing more successful and also more efficient at the same time. It's quite fortunate that the program will take place in a place that's renowned for its tennis, and tennis can actually be a really nice metaphor for negotiation. There is a back and forth, but of course, if you were to just try to achieve your own goal without both sides participating in the game, it couldn't be any fun at all.